Morning. So the past few I'm just trying, there we go, there's more better lighting. So the past few weeks I've been really just longing for the value add that home sale gives a person in life. But like heavily so. And in Pretoria, I always seem to convince myself, or I always seem to have reasons or excuses of why it wouldn't be practical, right, for me to be in a home cell. So, like, I can't have a home cell because I don't really know where I'm going to be most of the time. So, how does it help that I commit to leading a home cell, but then I'm there once a month, or probably sometimes even no times a month, because I'll be out of Pretoria itself, or I won't be available, or I'll be working or whatever. And then it's just the thing of, okay, well then, Katie, why don't you just attend a lifestyle, and I'm like, okay, well, when last was I even a life group leader, I'm going to be that person in the home cell that most home cell leaders panic about, because she's just going to want to keep talking, and then eventually you're just like, okay, Katie, you need to stop talking now. But the reality is that I could find a life group near me or whatever, and just start attending that whenever I'm available. And that would, even that would add some level of value, So we sometimes talk ourselves out of the situations, and they're not really true. But I started thinking about why. And this morning, a friend of mine actually posted, shout out Dietmar. He posted, he was like, if we're honest with ourselves, if we've been brutally honest, how honest are we with ourselves in life, in situations, in circumstances? And as soon as I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, if we are really honest, most of us will answer like one or two, because we really are. We are so great at convincing ourselves into the truths that we seek. We're so great at looking for the things that we want, that we want to encourage or find ourselves in. Yeah, and that just kind of got me thinking into the whole thing. So, like, what is it like, and why, and what is the main reason, if we're convincing ourselves, if we're constantly lying to ourselves so that we can end up in truths that we so seek, what is it in this situation, specifically in the home cell group situation, that maybe makes me want to not do it, or that makes me not commit to it. And I actually posted about some of it this morning, and I want to read it like that, because it I went to a deep place this morning, guys. It wasn't even 8 o'clock. The driver came to fetch me at 6 o'clock, so I had to be ready by 6 a.m. So by 6 a.m. I felt like I'd already had like a whole tablespoon of, I'd already had a plate of food. Anyway, so so the thing is, if we're honest with ourselves, we will value the counsel of those that we trust. And the reason why we do this is because, more than anything else, we're good at deceiving ourselves. So the only way to or a way to mitigate that risk then is to say, okay, well, let me have people in my life whom I trust, allowing for the space, obviously, for God to use the stranger or the donkey or the dog or the cat. But let me make sure that there are people in my life who are willing and able to speak into my life in situations where I might be strongly deceiving myself, because that really does happen. So, okay, so what is it about a life group? I think the first thing is really that it keeps us accountable. As soon as we've got a group of people that we do life with, it keeps us accountable. It keeps us accountable to the decisions that we've made about where we want to go in life, about who we want to be. Because all of a sudden, if I'm doing something that's outside of that, then it's easy for the person to point it, because then the person can actually see and they can point it out. But obviously, if I'm hiding in a hole, if I've told you that, look, I want to be a person that starts wearing dresses. Okay, I'm not saying this is just an example. But if I want to be a person that starts wearing dresses, and then I make sure that I never see you, you can never check if I'm wearing dresses. If I've started wearing dresses, this is a very bad example. I can just see the things coming from this. But anyway, so it holds us accountable. And then the second thing is also counsel challenges our truth. So it, I'll share my opinion, or I'll share my experience of something, and in hearing it, because, so for instance, for me, there are quite deep-seated roots of rejection, right, in my life. So sometimes when I tell a story, like even if I tell it to my mom, she'll be like, Katie, are you sure that that's how that happened? Like, are you sure that 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 you are telling the story as it's meant to be told? And I mean, as angry as I can get in those moments, or as disappointed as I sometimes am, like, oh, why doesn't she believe me? I appreciate that she can do that, though, because sometimes I'll be telling the story out of that place, and then as we talk through the story, then it's easy for me to identify, okay, but you know what, this person, actually, it wasn't intentionally trying to show malice towards me. They weren't intentionally trying to leave me with whatever feeling I feel like I've been left with. So it challenges our truth. Or sometimes then what happens, which I love this, sometimes around biblical conversations, is we'll start talking, and then we'll be talking about a piece of scripture, and Andy loves doing this to me. Like, she'll just tell me straight. She'll be like, look, that is not a biblical interpretation, or how you've interpreted is not who Jesus is. So maybe let's relook at that, reread the context, maybe reread the chapter or the book, and then look at that again. So it really, it provides us a platform, an opportunity to challenge our truth, which I think is a great thing to have in life. And then it also enables transparency, and this is obviously dependent on who you are and where you might find yourself. Because if you are willing, because you obviously have to be willing to show that side of you, for people to know that side of you, which is why I started by saying, counsel, it has to be a group of people that you've chosen to do life with, people that you trust. It can't just, it's not necessarily the stranger on the streets. I mean, I know many times I've walked down the street, or I just bump into someone and we end up having this like really deep conversation for that moment. But I also know then that I'm never probably going to see that person again, and that person probably just needed an intervention from a stranger. My mom will yell at me so much. She'll be like, you want to go and pay a psychologist to go and tell you what I could have told you. And I'm like, yes, but the fact that it's coming from somebody that's not you is sometimes what I need, sometimes helpful. But anyway, so counsel enables us to be transparent, and it challenges us to be, and I want to encourage you to, in those relationships, to actually be transparent, because the more transparent we are, the more we can purge our lives of, this deceit. And actually, the more transparent we are, the easier it is actually for people to walk road with us in terms of accountability, because then, we're kind of dealing with all of it at the same time, not just bit by bit by bit. And then it supports relationships, it encourages relationships, because can you imagine the person, like, I mean, Shamaine knows everything about me, you know what I mean? Like, somebody can't go to her and be like, oh, Katie did X, Y, Z, because she's going to be like, my man, when did that happen? You are lying. You are not talking about Katie, So it supports the relationship, and it encourages relationship. I'm actually just thinking now, I remember when Pretoria, in Gauteng, first they changed the name of Pretoria to Tshwane, right? Then everybody got new business cards for Tshwane to say, okay, well, that's my address, then Tshwane. Then they started changing the street names, but they didn't change them like all at the same time. So a person who's on the corner of 2nd and 21st, right? 2nd is now changed to, I don't know, whatever, 2nd is now changed to 8th, let's say. So now you print a new business card that says, okay, now I'm on the corner of 22nd and 8th. And then they changed 22nd to 30, now you have to print new business cards again. And sometimes, like, yes, it can be overwhelming, but sometimes it's great to just kind of nudge it all at once, or put it all out there at once, and trust that Holy Spirit will know which order to address certain things in, and how to do so. So for those of you that do need encouraging, I really want to encourage you, if there is a life group near you, or if you do attend a church that has life groups, please consider going. The challenge is there for me too, that, okay, I need to find a life group that I can plug myself into. And don't make it a thing of, oh, these people are too old, these people are too young. Or, like, find a life group that you can actually plug yourself into. But what I do want to add to that is, please make sure that it's word-based. Guys, there's so many things going on nowadays that are just not biblical. And I mean, in some life groups, you hear someone say something and the cell leader won't even correct that person. They'll be like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. I'm like, no, if it's not biblical, you should actually have the balls to say, listen, dog, that is not biblical. Or just, or talk about, like we spoke about, challenging the truths that people have, challenge the opinions and stuff, so that our minds are transformed in the right way. We want to be transformed into the mind of Christ. We don't want to be transformed into like the mind of Katie, or what Katie's understanding of the gospel is. We actually want to seek, and we want to draw what the fullness of Christ is. What did God mean when he said XYZ? So those of you that need encouraging, find a life group, and let me know how it goes. And those of you that don't need encouraging, maybe some of you have actually joined a life group, but you just haven't been in a while. I encourage you, like, go. If there's something about the life group that's kind of making you not want to go, then talk to your cell leader. Talk to your life group leader. Let them have the opportunity also to see, because they also need the input. They would also appreciate the support. That's also building relationship for them. That's also keeping them accountable, to the flock that they're leading. So those that don't need encouraging, my challenge to you then is, don't you want to find a friend and invite them to life group? Just get a person and invite somebody to life group. It's such a great tool, guys. It's actually so amazing how so many churches are just built on life groups. And when life groups are done right, there's life there. There should be life in your life group. You can't have a life group without people receiving life. So I think the bottom line is this, that life can be lived, and it can be lived well without any of the things that we've spoken about, like that counsel that friendships or relationships give us. It can be lived really well with that, but by us allowing that process to run through our lives, by us embracing that process, you find that you can enjoy life so much more. Your progress in life can be so much more, depending obviously on the attitude that you keep throughout the process. But it's an encouragement for life groups this week, man. Yeah. And if any of you guys do have life groups there near me in Pretoria or in Gazina, let me know. Let me know. I'll keep you posted and you keep me posted. Okay, cool. Okay, bye.